So this is my fully integrated smart home, and today I'm going to show you 10 different ways that I use to control all of the devices inside it. We're going to start with the ways that I barely ever use and go up to the ones that I use every day. So let's get cracking. Starting off at number 10, the method that I use the least to control my smart home, that is the native Apple Home app on my MacBook. Important piece of context, I use Apple Home to link all my smart home stuff together. While the app is great and serves its purpose, you can see all of my devices clearly laid out here, ready to be controlled. I find myself just defaulting to one of the other methods whenever available. I only really ever use this thing when setting up automations or doing some sort of troubleshooting. Next up at number 9, we have the Apple Watch app. Same sentiment as the Mac app. While it does work well, the small screen makes it fairly inconvenient to use, and I usually find myself using another method of control. One of the only times I will use the Apple Watch app is to trigger secure devices like a door lock. Because it's tied directly to your person, it doesn't require Face ID or passwords to do secure actions like unlock the door. Coming in at number 8 is Siri on the MacBook. If I'm on my Mac and I need to control a device, I just click the Siri icon up here and then input my command via voice. Jumping into the car for number 7. And that's using Apple CarPlay that I retrofitted in my car. I could either say, "Hey Siri," and it'll pick up on this mic here, or I could push this button on my steering wheel, which will trigger Siri, and I could then input my command. I use this whenever I leave the house in the car to make sure I turned off the lights and locked the door. This would be much higher on the list, but I just don't drive that often. At number 6, we're getting into the methods that I use almost every single day. This one being Siri on the Apple Watch. I'll use this if I'm not at home and not in reach of my phone. All I have to do is say something like, "Hey Siri, turn on the pendant light." And it works. Big example of this is if I'm out running and I don't have my phone with me and I need to unlock the door, this thing comes in clutch. It also works if I have my AirPods attached to the watch. I just say, "Hey Siri," or squeeze the stem to trigger Siri automatically. Pretty cool. At number 5, we have one that I think is way underutilized, and that is the Apple TV. If you push this voice button on the Apple TV remote, you could trigger Siri, so pretty much anytime you're sitting on the couch, if I hold this and say, "Hey Siri, turn off the dining room light," just works. Because of the display, the Apple TV actually gives you extra functionality like viewing cameras. So I could say, "Hey Siri, show me the office camera," and it will just pop up. And even better, you could minimize it and have it remain on the screen while you're scrolling around. And lastly, due to having a display, the Apple TV can actually notify you when certain things happen. For me, I have it set up to notify me when the door is locked and unlocked. At number 4, we have Siri on my iPhone, whether that's triggered from holding the power button to open Siri or just saying, "Hey Siri." This allows me to input pretty much any commands into my smart home, no matter where I am, whether that's home or out and about. Same as the watch, if I have the AirPods in, I could squeeze the stem to trigger Siri. This one isn't very glamorous, but because you have your phone with you all the time, being able to just trigger it with the voice assistant without disrupting any workflows is pretty great. Next up at number 3, we have NFC tags. You guys have probably seen these things if you follow my channel. These are tags that you could tap your phone to and have a unique action happen whenever you do that. For example, I have one on my bedside here that controls the bedside lamp. These are really great for actions you don't want to be using your voice for, like when you're in bed next to your partner and you don't want to wake them up. Another thing I've grown to love about these things and living in a household with multiple people is they can be programmed to do different things when different people tap them. So this one here in the entryway, when it's tapped, it plays a playlist, and it plays a different playlist whether it's me or my girlfriend tapping it. Pretty cool. At number 2, we have the iPhone app. This is a place where you can have fully finite control of your smart home no matter where you need it. I really love the Apple Home app. It gives you full access to all your devices, and it usually takes less than 5 seconds to find what you need, control it, and then get out of there. Similar to the app are the controls that you get in your dock when you swipe down on your iPhone. These are used even more than the app. They show up dynamically based on what you use at certain times of the day. This gives me really quick access to any of my devices at any time, and I probably use this more than the app itself. And the number one way that I interact with my smart home, this one shouldn't be a surprise to most of you, is my Apple HomePods. These are little speakers that are placed all over my house that give me full access to my smart home via my voice at all times. I don't need my phone, I don't need a watch, I don't need anything. All I need to do is say something like, "Hey Siri, turn off the living room TV." And it just happens. Doesn't matter where I am, I've got full coverage of my house with these things, so I control it whenever I want. The only downside of these HomePods is you obviously have to be shouting out into the air for them to work. So if you live in a household with other people, a partner or whatever, and it's late, that's when I usually revert to using my iPhone to control the devices manually. Anyway, those are the 10 ways that I control my smart home. I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I appreciate all y'all for watching. Thank you. Goodbye.